Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, and in this segment, dear viewers, the heritage of a place is what sets it apart from all other places. Preserving places remembers the past while preparing for the future. Preserving places saves the culture of the persons who come before, and preserving culture and historical sites has benefits realized over time and not immediate returns. Holding cultural and artistic events in historical sites add to its beauty while giving life to the historic sites. Egyptian officials have unveiled plans to increase the quality of service across the country's museums, tourism, and archaeological sites. And in this context, dear viewers, we have with us Mrs. Hanan Alem, and she is a tour guide to tell us more about, of course, what we're talking about.
Mrs. Hanan, thank you
Very
very
good
much
day,
for
Mrs.
being
Hanan.
with us today.
You're welcome.
On,
It's my
Nile
pleasure.
Cruise.
It's my pleasure.
Of course, as Rana mentioned, this is a historic place with different museums, the police museum, the military museum, but it is not just about the artifacts or the monuments that are here or the citadel itself, but artistic, cultural events are being held here. What is the importance of such a step in your opinion?
Actually, it's a great idea and a brilliant idea because it attracts another kind of tourists that, rather than the regular ones. So it will attract those who are interested in music, interested in culture, in traditional festivals. So maybe they were not thinking about coming to visit Egypt, but because of this festival, they started to come and they started to be attracted to this kind of tourism.
Yes.
Ms. Hanan, some important artistic events are held in the Citadel, as the International Festival of Drums and Traditional Arts that just took place last Friday, that was held recently in the Citadel. How does the historic site add to the beauty of such events?
Of course, it will add a great attention. So these, these kind of tourists that they came for these festivals, they will take more pictures. They will get this through the media, the social media, to their friends, to their parents, to their families. So all the others that they will see these pictures and when they see their videos, they will be attracted to come and to visit the place.
Yes, and of course, we are facing the coronavirus pandemic, not just in Egypt, but in the whole world. How did you see the measures that were taken by the government, by the Ministry of Tourism, and of course in cooperation with the Ministry of Health, to be vaccinating as much or as many people working in the tourism sector as fast as possible?
Well, actually, it started because most of the travel agencies now, they started to vaccinate all the people that they are working in these agencies, including drivers, including operators, including tour leaders. And now they started also with us as guides. In the car itself or in the bus itself, there are a lot of services and a lot of precautions to take care, like alcohol, like wipes, like so it will give the tourist this feeling of safety and security of getting the coronavirus.
Yes.
So this is very important, and even also we make more promotion that here we are safe and we people are safe to come and visit, especially that we are here in the open areas in most of the touristic areas.
The mummies parade from the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir to the National Museum of Civilization of Egyptian Civilization Dynamic used images from different sites in Egypt, like the pyramids, of course. How did such place add to the beauty of the televised parade?
You can't imagine. It was a great event. And really, it attracted a lot of tourists. You know, now we are one of the few countries that they are open for tourists. And, before this parade, before this festival, actually, we were, as guides, we had a doubt about the Museum of Civilization, because we thought nobody would be interested to go to visit this museum with the other one, the famous one, the Egyptian Museum at Tahrir Square. But after the parade, after showing this occasion in a very great way, the president also attended. you can imagine in my programs now, it's one of the most important place that they go to visit, and they want to see the mummies and where the place that it was held, and where the places that they got through. So it's very important.
What does the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization bring differently to a tourist?
A lot. First of all, it's not a big one, but it's very interesting because it represents all the cultures in Egypt, starting from the primitive area, from the early human, until the modern time. So in one place, you are allowed to know about the chronology of the Egyptian history, starting from 30,000 years ago, especially that they have a skeleton of 30,000 years ago, until the modern time, and the culture and the way even in the desert they are wearing. And so it's very interesting.
Not only it has also the educational center, it has a training center, it has the pyramid that you can go up and see all of Egypt from there. So it's the different museum in all means. When we come to talk about dynamic, it's
You're talking about the
Egyptian Museum
civilization.
of Civilization. I was continuing and saying the characteristics, what are the very important things that are inside the museum. It's not just a normal museum that you go and watch arty crafts over there, but there are many other things. You can take your family, go for lunch, go and enjoy the day over there. It's,
of course, and especially also it attracted the attention of the Egyptians. You know, before it was not for the Egyptians to go to museums.
Exactly.
Now they are the first people to go to visit the museum and the area and the lake around. And this is amazing project, you know, because this lake, after being neglected, and it was restored and cleaned, so it became really a very brilliant place, especially that the museum is all air conditioned. It's very modern. So this is also, it gives, you know, a kind of peace and you know, a nice feeling for the tourists to visit and to see all the items.
yes, and the glass pyramids that oversees all of Egypt, if you go into it, it's very different.
Of course, because, you know, it's another kind of the pyramid maybe that you find in the Louvre, maybe you find in Emirates. So also it added something to the museum.
We have millions of artifacts and monuments in Egypt, and of course they are scattered all over the world. But what is different about the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization is the way of showing each and every artifact or piece, because unlike the Egyptian Museum at Tahrir Square, it has a lot.
Totally different.
Yes,
because
it has
first
a lot
of
of
all,
artifacts.
it's modern.
Ah.
Yeah, beside each artifact or beside each piece, you have a video. It's showing you in details how, for instance,
And this is the first time for you to see it.
it's the first time.
What
It's-
was the reaction of the tourists?
Of course, they are very, they are surprised, they are astonished. So for them, it's a totally modern place. It's totally modern, a museum, and it's gathering all the cultures, all what they want to know about Egypt, about everything in one place. And also, it's not so big, so they can see everything in such maybe 1 or 2 hours maximum.
Yes.
What are the touristic preferences of Arab tourists, Ms. Hanan?
Well, actually, lately we started promoting for Arab tourists. Before, Arab tourists, they were coming only for maybe spending the summer vacation on beaches, on the sea or so. But lately, in one of the agencies I'm working with, I think we are going to start visiting Luxor. Imagine Arab tourists, they've never been there, or they were not interested in this place. Nowadays, we are promoting for this, and we are going to start this. You know, maybe next month or something. So we started to attract attention for the Arabs to come to see the monuments as well. Not only the beach, not only entertainment. No, we started another kind of cultural touristic.
If the tourists are amazed by the modern National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, what can we expect of the gem, the Grand Egyptian Museum?
Oh my God. This, I'm imagining it's gonna be unbelievable thing, because it's great. It's gonna be the greatest all over the world. And also it will be, I'm sure, because actually we are so fortunate, we are so lucky with the new Minister of Tourism, Dr. Khalid Al-Anani, and he was one of our colleagues. He was a touristic guide. So he understands what attracts the tourist, how to show, how to promote for the area. So I'm sure it's gonna be unbelievable, and it will attract a lot of tourists.
Standards will be upgraded across Al Mu'izz Street, which is the capital of the citadel, of course, and museums within Alexandria, Fayoum, Suhag, and Luxor, of course, spearheaded by the country's Minister of Tourism and Antiquities.
Not
This
only
came
in
when you
Alexandria, in
mentioned, of
Sharm el
course,
Sheikh and
Dr. Khalid
Hurghada,
Anani.
a lot of museums, they were reopened lately.
Yes,
Al Mu'izz Street
and there is
also
the,
became
already they opened in Sharm el Sheikh.
exactly. So all of these events, and of course they promote for this in a international way. All of this will attract the people. Even if you are not coming to Cairo, you are going to the Red Sea, because there also you can have all of kinds of museums. You can have culture and you can have entertainment. Al Mu'izz Street is beautiful, such a beautiful, after restoring the area, after promoting the area, after illuminating the area in the evening. So it became an attractive area for the tourists who are interested maybe in this kind of Oriental and Islamic monuments.
We live in an age of social media. It's being dominated by the social media on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google Plus. Um, the pros and cons for the tourism sector here in Egypt. Of course, it could be drawing more tourists to be coming here and convincing people from all over the world to be coming here to Egypt and learning about the culture and everything about it here. But on the other side, the downside of it is that any small problem could be exaggerated. How do you see the situation now? Is it good or bad for Egypt?
No, I think it's very good actually. Maybe after the Mummies Parade, I'm seeing that everything is turning to be better and better. And now the social media, this is a new technology, okay, the technology of the era. And most of the young people, I mean, the new guides, the new generation, that they had no the chance to work until now, because we've been waiting for many years to start to work, because every time we have a problem. So they started to promote through the social media. A lot of them, they are working through online. You see, a lot of people, they are reserving online tours. So the social media, yes, it could be two sides.
Yes.
It could be very good, it could be very bad for those who would like to to spoil the view of the people about Egypt. But actually we have a lot, or a great generation, they are defending and they are promoting. All of us, we are guides. Always we get, on our accounting of Facebook or maybe Instagram, we put a lot of pictures for us in the time being with tourists in the past. So we always keep them in with the news about Egypt.
Yes.
And this is great, of course.
Mrs. Hanan, there are currently plans to improve tourism services, to develop visitor centers, which is very important for a visitor to arrive and take a brochure and know everything that is here in Egypt, introduce new seating areas, and improve disabled access and recycling facilities. How important is this decision, Mrs. Hanan?
Well, actually, it's very important, because before we had a lack of this. You see, we were depending on our offices in European countries or in the Western countries, on other countries. And actually, it was not effective. But by this way, we are using modern ways, and we are showing the people that we are following all the modern ways to facilitate everything for the tourists.
As we are celebrating the anniversary of the 30th of June revolution, how do you see tourism as being a priority for the agenda of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi under his tenure?
Well, of course, he has a great, importance. All of these things, they are held now. They wouldn't have been done without his, giving attention to tourism, and to have. He wants the modern Egypt. And modern Egypt wouldn't be modern without modern museums, without modern areas, without clean areas, without areas that tourists would not be, disturbed. So all of this, I think it's according to his decisions.
There is ongoing campaigns to promote Arab tourism in Egypt and social media that has gained the interest of 20 million followers. How do you see the importance of using social media to promote tourism, and when do Arab visitors prefer to come to Egypt?
Well, lately they started to be interested, and actually they started to be interested all of these modern thing to visit. I told you before that Arabs before maybe they were interested in entertainment, but now they are interested in more cultural areas. Also, for us, why we neglected this market? They are our neighbors, they are very near to us, and they could refresh the Egyptian economy, because this would be good for the Egyptian economy, you see, until we have the other kinds of tourists.
Mrs.
Yes.
Hanan, on the 30th of June, of course, as we celebrate the revolution, there's going to be the opening of the new Alamein city, which is in the north coast. And of course, President
Alamein
Abdel
city,
Fattah, yes,
Yeah.
of course, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, along with many high-ranking officials, and of course, kings will be opening the Alamein city on the 30th of June. How do you see this in relation to attracting tourism, of course, to Egypt, and the importance of this event?
Well, it makes us all of us proud, because it shows the other face of Egypt. This is the modern Egypt. We are building a new republic, a new country with everything. It shows the people how really Egypt became different rather than before, not like they imagined. So everything, every time you are announcing an event, opening a new city, opening a new capital, opening a new museum, so you are keeping people outside, or the tourists, you are keeping them with attention to Egypt. A lot of things they have to see. They have to watch. It's not anymore just to come the regular 2 days visiting the pyramids, Saqqara Museum, and the Citadel. This was the regular program. No, now they have a lot of places to see. Nobody knew that our Mediterranean Sea, it has such a beautiful coast. It has such modern places, compounds. You see, every time we had the tourists going to the pyramids, seeing only the camels, seeing before the dirty streets or the dirty area, now it's different totally. So they were imagining that this is Egypt. It's like a poor country. Yes, it has the pyramid, but it's not a clean country. It's not modern. So of course this is totally wrong. But nowadays, with the opening of these capital, even the administrative capital, and all the announcement about it. So this changed the point of view about the world, about the tourists, about Egypt. It's modern Egypt, and I'm so proud.
Yes, Mrs. Hanan Alem, the tour guide, thank you very much for being with us today on Nile Cruise.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. Thank you very
Pleasure is all
much.
mine.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining
Thank you.
us. Dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll be back again.